Oh, it would embarrass Democrats so much if they managed to do that. It would be the most embarrassing thing for Democrats who claimed under the Biden administration that they were going to do it, but they're beholden to the pharmaceutical companies as well.
Well, where are we today? We're back on the Young Turks with Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks, talking, as you can see, with Megyn Kelly. And nominally, they are on opposite sides of the political spectrum, but there is some overlap. And today they're talking about healthcare and specifically the implications of RFK Jr. Coming into the administration, and will he push for government or Medicare and Medicaid to be able to negotiate the prices of drugs? Because I think it's probably no secret that a great many lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are beholden to big pharma. So let's see what Ana Kasparian, Cenk Uygur, and Megyn Kelly have to say about this.
That was Republican Mitch McConnell, the former GOP leader, someone who just put out a scathing statement about RFK Jr.'s views about the issue of vaccines. He goes on to say that, referring to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a record of trafficking in dangerous conspiracy theories and eroding trust in public health institutions does not entitle Mr. Kennedy to lead these important efforts, referring to efforts to try to treat illnesses and disease.
Now, former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican, might be the saltiest Republican in Congress at the moment because he has voted no on quite a few of Donald Trump's cabinet nominees. Cenk, thoughts?
Yeah, I think this one's complicated. So he's terrible on vaccines, but he could do something that would be heroic. So let's talk about that in a second.
All right, so let's talk about how many of the senators voted to confirm RFK Jr. as the Health and Human Services Secretary. So the 52-48 vote was largely along party lines, though Republican Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky once again joined the Democrats to oppose the nomination. McConnell has now voted against 3 of Trump's cabinet nominees, more than any other Republican senator. So the other 2 that he voted against include Pete Hegseth for Defense Secretary and Tulsi Gabbard as Director of National Intelligence. Tulsi Gabbard was also confirmed yesterday for her position. Now, getting back to Kennedy, he will now serve as the nation's top public health official. And while he certainly has some issues, many of which we've talked about on this show, especially in regard to his views on vaccinations, this little excerpt from Politico is pretty interesting. So they write that from drug makers to doctors' organizations, groups thought to have the clout to steer policy and funding in Washington because they enjoyed bipartisan support and huge lobbying budgets have remained silent about Kennedy. And that's not because they aren't worried, writes Politico, but because they didn't think they could stop him or think the cost of speaking out would be too steep. 5 people representing health groups granted anonymity to speak candidly said. By staying mum, they hope to limit fallout if Kennedy follows through on his plans to strip the industry, meaning the healthcare industry, to the studs. So to be sure, pharmaceutical companies and the healthcare industry is actually really worried about him. And they should be, because something that you and I have noticed, Cenk, that I think a lot of people still don't believe us on, and I don't blame them, is that there is this faction of the Republican base that wants things to change, similar to how the left-wing base wants things to change. So I'm going to give you a very specific example. This was during my interview on Megyn Kelly's show yesterday. I brought up the issue of Medicare and how our Medicare system is unable to negotiate drug prices. And I want you to pay close attention to how she reacted to this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Why can't the system negotiate drug prices? The whole thing smacks of just a massive scam, and it is outrageous. The healthcare system, such as it is in the United States, of course, is a mess. Drugs are a mess. Now, I'm not going to say the Belgian healthcare system is brilliant, but it's actually pretty decent, frankly. It is pretty good. I mean, the quality of care is high. It's reasonably priced for judged based on salaries people earn here and everything. and it generally works. But Belgium is a very small country, and you can centralize everything very easily. United States, of course, is a completely different context. It's a massive country. Each state has a lot of powers. That sort of system doesn't exist in European countries, which are much more centralized. So you can't really compare them. But it seems like there's a lot of room for improvement. So it seems like there's plenty of flab that can be trimmed away, and probably a lot of corruption that can be rooted out across the healthcare and pharma sectors in the United States. So let's get into this, see what Ana has to say with Megyn Kelly.
Let's take a look. But he would go down as the most popular president in American history if he allowed for Medicare to negotiate drug prices, so Americans and our Medicare system wasn't being price gouged by pharmaceutical companies.
Why won't he do that? I mean, I know why he won't lower the retirement age for Social Security, and he doesn't want to make any Medicare cuts or do anything that's going to increase costs for seniors. But why wouldn't he allow Medicare to negotiate costs?
Honestly, I think if this issue was brought to him by anyone in a very serious way, he would attempt to do it. He doesn't.
Yeah, Ana, to me, that sounds perfectly reasonable what she's saying. I think she's right. Of course, the vast majority, probably pretty much everybody in Congress, and who knows, most of the people in the administration maybe are beholden to big pharma, but maybe not. RFK, is he? Supposedly not. He's meant to be anti the whole sort of healthcare scam system in the United States. So the healthcare system, big pharma, big medical, they presumably are not looking forward to his confirmation.
Doesn't really care about
maybe Dr.
what
Oz
is or isn't allowed, right? So yeah, I mean, that would be incredible. I don't think that he's paying attention to that, but I think if you talk to him and ask him to work on that issue, it could really save the American taxpayers
will do
a lot of money. That would be fantastic.
That, Ana? I mean, this isn't something I spent a lot of time on, but this sounds like something that wouldn't typically be done because most people are beholden to the drug companies who don't want this. And RFKJ is not beholden to the drug companies. That's one of the great things about him. That's one of the things the left hates about him. But he, technically oversees Medicare now, and when he gets confirmed, which is going to be tomorrow. And Dr. Oz directly oversees Medicare and Medicaid. And so, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they actually will touch the untouchable.
Oh, it would embarrass Democrats so much if they managed to do that. It would be the most embarrassing thing for Democrats who claimed under the Biden administration that they were going to do it, but they're beholden to the pharmaceutical companies as well. So look, some people might not take kindly to the framing, but you got to frame things in a way that speaks to the right. And I just find it hard to believe that right-wing voters want to be scammed by the pharmaceutical industry and price gouged when it comes to our Medicare system, paying for pharmaceutical drugs for the elderly. I'm sure they don't want that. So let's work together and actually get something done, because the methods that we have relied on so far, which is relying on corrupt politicians in Congress to do it, has not really worked out so well. And to draw attention to the fact that, there are corrupt members on both sides of the political aisle, and that we need to do something about that in order to actually accomplish the right policies as it pertains to Medicare, I think is the right way to go about it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely great point. I think Anna's 100% right. Imagine if Donald Trump could take credit for lowering, significantly lowering, slashing the cost of drugs, medicines across the board, by by basically breaking this monopoly, or breaking this stranglehold that Big Pharma has over the healthcare industry. He would be that alone would make him the most popular president ever. It would be insane. And I think Ana, again, I think she's completely right to say that, right-wingers are, nobody wants to be scammed by Big Pharma. Nobody wants it. This is we need the equivalent of a Doge just to go through and just bring Big Pharma to its knees, but also to do a serious revamping of the healthcare system in general. Let me know what you think. I mean, I don't know much about the American healthcare system, of course, since I don't live there. But I think it could be a huge win for Trump and his team if they actually made some substantive change. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, if that's even possible. I would be interested to hear that. I mean, I know, well, I won't get into it now, but I know a bit about the Kaiser system because that's what all my family are on the west coast of the States. It seems to work, but you know, it's complicated. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.